Hey friends, we'll talk about three subjects today. I want to talk about an incident that happened here yesterday. But uh, first thing, there's a little thing that happens almost every time I turn my computer on in the morning, because I turn it off overnight, turn it on in the morning, and the creepiest thing that happens, it says this little warning. It says, your webcam is not working. I'm like, no, it works just fine when I remove the sticker I put over it for my privacy's sake. That is creepy when they say, your webcam's not working, we can't see you. It's like, that's the point. Oh my goodness, don't you find that odd? Every time I have a webcam on a computer, my laptop, my desktop, I put a sticker over it. So if I want to use it, it's there. I can take the sticker off, but no, I always cover my webcam. I suggest you do the same. I want to talk about this. I haven't ever talked about this thing, and the only reason I bring it up is because it sets what I feel is sort of a disturbing precedent. The Alex Jones case, I haven't really followed it. I understand what it's about. I haven't followed all the details of it, okay? He was basically ordered to pay almost $1 billion. I mean, 900 something million dollars to these people from Sandy Hook, who supposedly had they were hurt by what he said, whatever. Now, you know Alex Jones. If I don't watch Alex Jones, years ago I watched a few of his things, but his voice bothers me. It kind of bugs me, so I just quit watching it. And he has a way of saying outrageous, crazy things, and he'll say them in the most outrageous ways. He words them, and he'll scream, and so he's not somebody I just normally would listen to. I just don't like his style that much. Now, do I think he's a liar? Not necessarily. But what bothered me most about this, I thought, am I missing something? How do you get convicted of having an opinion? How do you hurt somebody by saying, I don't believe you? I always felt that he believed it was a hoax, that he actually did believe that. That's what I always felt. Now, like I said, I don't follow him all the time anymore. I can't see why somebody would just absolute flat out lie about something and know that it wasn't a hoax, that children died, and yet they lied about it, and just for views and clicks and whatever. Now, I don't underestimate the depravity of human nature. Don't get me wrong. But I always felt that he probably did believe it was a hoax. And early on, I remember seeing a couple of things. I didn't research this. I wasn't following it. But I happened to see a couple of things where they said, well, here's a crisis actor from this, and they were seen doing so-and-so in another town when supposedly their children had just died. And, there's a lot of things that make you go, that kind of stuff. And I thought, okay, I can see why these people are having a hard time believing if they really think these are these people, and their child just was gunned down, and now they're running and vacationing and having a good time. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of talk about that, not just from Alex Jones. Now, he's not the only one that was talking about that. But, I really it kind of fell by the wayside, because it's not something I can do anything about, and it's not something that I feel like I could form a decent opinion on, okay? And we know there have been crisis actors and false flags and that kind of stuff. And we know that when they really want to do something, they will use the children. We all know this. Every time somebody said, oh, it's for the children. Nancy Pelosi's guilty of saying that often. Oh, we want to protect the children, when actually they're not protecting children at all. So what I'm finding is, whatever happened to, I may not believe what you say, believe in what you're saying, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Whatever happened to that? Isn't this under free speech, that he can voice an opinion no matter how unpopular, that this did not happen, this was really not true. Now, okay, it hurt somebody's feelings. There's no right for you not to have your feelings hurt. It's not in the Constitution. You don't have a right not to be offended. You don't have the right to not have your feelings hurt. Those are not constitutional rights. In fact, if you are offended, really what you need to do is look inward to see why something offends you. Not look at who offended you, but look at why it offends you. And if it really matters what they said. What bothers me is this can be a very slippery slope. When you can award, and see, the same judge, they also filed a suit against the gun manufacturer, which to me is the biggest joke I've ever heard. That is so stupid. I mean, that's like if I accidentally stab my husband on purpose or by accident, they go look up whoever made the knife and go sue them. That's insane. That's just stupid. That is absolutely illogical and irrational. Because people get hurt with all kinds of instruments. You can take a sharpened pencil and kill somebody with it. You stab them in the right place, and you can kill somebody with a sharpened pencil. You're gonna say we can't make any more lead pencils? I mean, come on. But what bothers me is this. There's truly no such thing as hate speech. There's only speech with which you do not agree. Because the word hate speech is really subjective. Now, I heard somebody say, well, it was actually on MRC TV. Brittany Hughes was saying something about, okay, so the feds can lie, Joe Biden can lie, and it's okay, they get away with it, but Alex Jones can't lie. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure you're saying he lied. I don't know that it was a lie as much as a mistaken idea. He was saying it was a hoax. That was his opinion. Have you proven that he actually lied, maliciously lied? I don't know that was proven. I don't know. I didn't follow the trial, okay? For somebody to be convicted of libel or slander, they have to kind of know that what they're saying or writing is not true and they're trying to ruin somebody's reputation or their business or whatever. I don't know that was true in this case. So if you follow this to its logical conclusion, me calling the guy in the White House a pervert is, oh my, could that hurt somebody's feelings? I don't know if he has any feelings, truthfully. See, she lied about him. No, actually, I watched it with my own eyes. I've watched women cringe away from him. I've watched him touch them inappropriately. I saw Jeff Sessions slap Biden's hand away from his granddaughter. Now, that video is almost impossible to find on the internet anymore. And somebody say, oh, he was adjusting her little buttons or something. No, I saw it. He said, don't touch her. He slapped his hand and said, don't touch her. But it's hard to find that anymore because they scrubbed that off the internet. Not before I saw it. And I heard the audio. For a while you could find it without the audio, but I heard the audio before it disappeared from the internet. The interwebs, as they say. So, I mean, what can I say? I hurt people's feelings on here all the time. It's not that I'm intentionally trying to hurt people's feelings. It's just that they have their feelings hurt because they're not secure enough in themselves to have an adult discourse and adult conversation. I've had to grow thick skin. I've dealt with insane neighbors. I was a realtor to put my sons through college. My God, that's the things that people will do to you and say to you. I was, I've been on the backyardchickens.com for over 17 years now, and I was a moderator for about 5 of those years. And as a moderator, you have a target on you. You hold people to the rules. They don't like the rules. They think they're special and they don't have to follow them, or they don't think they can't understand the rules, and they want to call you names and they want to call you everything except home to supper. But you consider the source. It is what it is. You have to let it roll off of you. Okay, but the thing is, if you can actually hold somebody accountable for hurting your feelings, and that's it, and that's all. Now, where have we gone in this country? That is frightening to me. Yes, it was a big thing. Okay, so if these children really were killed and these families really suffered, of course, if their child was killed, they did suffer. I haven't really investigated. I haven't really looked into it in all these years. It's been a long time since this happened. I'm sorry. And there's going to be some people who are going to say mean things or not so nice things about it. That's the world we live in. You don't sue somebody every time they hurt your feelings. And you certainly don't award somebody $1 billion because someone else hurt their feelings. But what happened was it involves children. Children trigger intense emotions. And when somebody says, "Oh, I can't think of anything more evil than saying something about like that to people who've lost children," I'm thinking, I can think of a lot of things more evil than that. You aren't thinking very hard. But it was, to me, that actually was bothersome. I don't agree. If he actually knows, did they prove he lied, that he didn't just really believe that? If he really believed that, you can't punish him for it. That really bothers me because freedom of speech is endangered, terribly endangered. I say a lot of things that are not popular. Used to be traditionalists and conservatives were the norm. Now the psychos have gotten in control, and people who can't think rationally, their brains just they're so splintered that they can't put two rational thoughts together, and yet they're the ones that have to be in charge. They're the ones in office. So now traditional values, family values, Christian values, and I know non-Christians don't understand what that is. They don't. They think of big denominations and think that's Christian. Not necessarily. They don't know what that is. But they assume what it is. And they assume that I am a lot of things. And there's a lot of assumptions been made about me in my life that were absolutely 100% untrue. And you say, I am a Christian believer, and they make assumptions about what that means. They're probably wrong, especially in our case. But the world's upside down and backwards. And when you can be sued and have to pay $1 billion because you hurt the feelings of some people, even if you were wrong about what happened, but you really believe that was the case. If he really believed it was a hoax, because he saw what he thought were the crisis actors, or investigators said, we tracked down these and they're crisis actors. They're not really these people. Their names are not this. Whatever happened. Of course, he's going to think it was a hoax. And why are you being sued for just being wrong in your belief system? So the whole Alex Jones thing bothered me because I just believe it's another nail in the coffin of free speech, honestly. Maybe it was irresponsible speech. Maybe it was off-putting speech. It's loud. I don't like his style. But if that's what he really believed happened, he should not have been punished for it. Sorry. As bad as it, horrible as it was, and as triggered as people are because there are children involved, it is what it is. So let's get off of that. I could beat a dead horse forever, but anyway. Okay. I don't know if I mentioned to you that I was out in the pen with my birds, and they were not outside. See, they have the barn pen, and then there's another fenced off area. They don't get free range of the entire 2¼ acres that's actually fenced, perimeter fence, anymore, because they would always come up here and come on the deck and run around. My original groups did, and I didn't mind that. They didn't make a mess or anything. But it's safer if they are corralled into one large area, but it's larger. So there's the barn fence, which is large, and then there's the other fenced area, which is slightly bigger than that. And it keeps them back there, not up here at the front of the property. And I was standing there with him, and I happened to look up, and at the chain link gate that goes into the pasture, there's a dog standing there, a big dog. He looked like he might have been a Dobe Shepherd cross or something. He had the Dobe markings around the face. He was all brown, dark brown with lighter tan markings around the face. And he was just standing there looking at the chickens. And I called for my husband, who came out. By the time he came out there, somebody was calling for the dog next door. And the dog had trotted off that direction, back toward my next door neighbor's house. And so they already knew their dog was somewhere it shouldn't be. I never looked to see if it was male or female. Well, yesterday, when the same group was out, my big group with Mace and Iris and all them, I walked out to my steps and I looked out here. Standing next to my SUV was that dog. My husband had gone off to do an errand. His back is really, really bad right now. It's intensely bad. He went off to do that. He can barely get in and out of the car. So when he came back, he didn't get out to close the gate. And I told him, don't worry about the gate, just leave it, because he didn't get out to close the gate, and it was open. So the driveway gate, which is like a good 200 feet down, was open. The dog had come down the driveway. It's all the way to my car. And I told my husband, I said, there's a dog out here. And I said, get out of here. Well, I saw a guy on an ATV coming past my driveway. He's on the road up at the end of my driveway. And I heard him whistle and a call for this dog. I said, and I yelled really loud, get out of here, you know. And he said, come on. So the dog turned around. And when my husband came out here, I thought the dog was trotting out the gate to the guy, and the guy was, you know, with his ATV, and the dog was going to follow him back home, which I guess is next door. I don't know if that's the guy who owns the place, which was the son of the guy who owned it who bought it the same month we bought this place, and that guy's passed away, and his son has inherited it. I don't know if that's that kid, or if he's not a kid, he's in his 30s now, or if it's a friend of his. I don't know. I mean, he should know better, because we've gone round and round and round about his dogs in the past. That dog is probably long gone, dead. In fact, I have a thread about that whole incident called "Trapped a Dog on My Deck." Got an earful on backyardchickens.com. You can actually go look that up. Trapped a dog on my deck. You don't have to even belong to it to go look at threads. You just can't post there if you don't belong, and it don't cost anything to belong. So I'm thinking that guy knows better. Well, he goes on down, and I assumed the dog was running off with him. And my husband's come out here to the deck, and he says, hang on, I should have brought my water. And he says, that is a dog. I said, he's still in the fence? He goes, yes, the dog is still in my fence. That guy has gone off. He had to go past my sign right out there on the road that says, dogs harassing livestock may be shot. He's sitting right in front of my sign. And he calls the dog doesn't come, and he goes and leaves the dog in my fence. And I said, the dog is in, he left him? He says, yep, he's still here. I look out, and there's a dog. And I yell again, and the dog goes out the gate. So, I don't know what it is about dog owners, especially in the country, who think that because they live here, it's okay to let your dogs run anywhere they want to go. They are not aware, apparently, that there's an ordinance for the state and the ordinance for the county, which mirrors the ordinance for the state, that says, you know, it's talking about cruelty to animals, and then it says, you can't do so-and-so, so-and-so to the animal. You know, it said, unless, except in cases where the dog might be endangering livestock, and the person who shoots the dog will suffer no repercussions. And what it says is very specific, though. It pretty much says, I should have brought that piece of paper. I have the ordinance typed out, and I would suggest wherever you are, if you have livestock or your cats or whatever, I would suggest that you actually look it up online, or go, if you don't have it online in a little town, go to the courthouse and get a copy of the ordinance to do with dogs, roaming dogs. And what you can do with them, if you can shoot your dogs or not. See, a lot of places the dog has to kill something or has to be in the pen or killing in the process of killing. In this state, it doesn't have to be that way. The dog can actually, I can shoot a dog to prevent harm to livestock. Okay, that means he can just be headed toward my chicken pen. He can be chasing chickens, he can be running at my chickens at the fence, because chickens often will fly and into things to get away. They'll panic. My Easter egg girls, they'll fly over the fence. They'll fly right into his mouth probably. They're just crazy and nutty enough to do that. So knowing the way my birds are, I definitely would be taking this dog out of my misery before it got to my chickens if I had the chance. So I hope we're not going to have another thing with this neighbor. It's another reason I need to get my my horse fencing up. I have livestock fencing, but I prefer the horse fencing because the openings are much smaller. It's a better fencing. It's a woven fencing instead of welded wire, and it's, well, livestock fencing is not welded. I have some welded wire fencing, but it's so, the ground is so uneven, it's so sloped, you can't really go very far with welded wire. So there's some sections of just welded wire, which is 2 by 4 inch openings, and that's fine, but I've had dogs climb those too and bend them over. The horse fencing flexes better, it has smaller openings, it's tougher, has a reflective thing on the top where the deer can at least see there's something there. Maybe they'll clear my fence better. So anyway, that happened yesterday, and I hope this is not ramping up to be another dog problem. But that's what I want to tell you. I'll tell you about the creepy webcam warning. Your webcam is not working. Yeah, that's on purpose. It is working. It works fine when I take the sticker off of it. And the Alex Jones, I'm afraid of what this kind of thing's going to do, because they could be emboldened by that and take it so much further. They're already taking it further. A lady in Australia already, I saw this morning, she got arrested for saying there are 2 genders and you can't change it. And if some trans confused person got on there and said she was sending these memes and doing this and that, and she says, at the time those were posted, I was playing organ in the church. You can go look, because it was on Sunday morning. And so this person has sued her 3 times, and now the cops arrested her for stating biological facts. So we're living in a very, very scary time, where free speech is becoming quite the dodo bird. But we still have our Constitution, and it still guarantees free speech. So we're going to have to cling to that and make sure to slam it in somebody's face every time we have to. Yeah, get a copy of the Constitution and carry it around with you. The Bill of Rights and, the ordinances for your dogs and your county, that kind of thing too. I keep wanting to not carry a purse, and every time I turn around, I've got to carry something else with me like that. So I'll let you go. It's getting to be too long. I just want to talk to you about that. And what do you think? Because, to me, the whole thing is insane. So anyway, I'll talk to you later.